Welcome back to Digital 100. I'm your host, Patrick Wagner, and this is episode number 22. I'm excited to talk to you today, guys, about the social media resume. And this is something I've been noticing, and I think a lot of people have as well, but I think it expands past individual use of social media and also brands and solutions and businesses in general. So the reality is that everybody uses social media to some degree. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, there's all these different social media platforms. And the reality is nowadays when you're being hired or someone is looking at you for a job, they are going to go to Google. They are going to search the social media profiles that are out there that are connected with you specifically. And most people have them in some way or another. So you know HR companies are looking at this. You know, they're looking at these social media profiles to validate the type of individual you are, the type of jokes that you're making, the type of people you're hanging out, the type of parties you're having, all of that stuff. It gives them a really good insight in who you are as an individual. Now, what hits me is how few businesses and brands get this point, and how many people think that you can have an inauthentic kind of profile in social and yet on the front end be calling yourself a, in this example that I'm going to use, because this morning I got a DM from someone saying, hey, we run a social media agency and we can really help you out. We got all this stuff. We're going to do this. And then I flipped to their profile and it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. It had nothing to do with social media. It didn't show me. It didn't teach me. It was a couple of pictures and a couple of pictures inside of an office. And that was it. Like, it was really like in the sense of like the worst brochure I could have gotten, the worst billboard, the worst commercial. That's basically what that was. So for me, I looked at that information, and I'm sure every other company does this. So get this in your head, and that's the point of this video. Okay, every company out there and every individual out there is judging you based on your social media profiles, right? So if your social media profiles don't exist, there's a judgment right there. It's like going to a job interview and not having a goddamn resume, right? How far do you think you're going to go? Then the next thing is, if you're actually calling yourself out to be an expert or calling yourself out as anything within a niche, and you don't actually show that niche in your social profile, even a big fail. It's like me going for a job in marketing and my resume is for accounting. How the fuck does that work? Or how would you expect anyone to buy into it? It makes no sense at all, right? And when you start to look at things this way, it becomes so simple and so clear, right? So if your business is about building decks for people's houses, then your social profile needs to be about that. It needs to be about your projects, needs to be about the challenges, needs to be about the technology, needs to be about all of these things, so that if I'm interested in buying a new deck for my house, and I go to your social media profile, I see your professional crew. I see the great job that you guys do. I see the challenges you overcome. I see over and over and over your social media resume that proves to me in advance, these are the kind of people I want to hire because they get the job done, right? And if you're not thinking about that, and if you're not approaching your social media from that perspective, and all you're doing instead is working on your resume and maybe working on LinkedIn, you're literally missing the entire boat. And that's why I'm making this video specifically to kind of wake people up and make them realize the future is on social media, and your CV or resume is going to exist in that platform, because everyone knows the paper version of a resume is literally worthless, literally worthless. In the hiring process, it might be worth 2 to 5% of someone's opinion of you. That also puts, and I don't mean to put LinkedIn in a bad place, but it does put LinkedIn as a platform in the same value, right? Sure, people can find you, and sure, there's a database, and some people can, recruiters can find people and approach them. And if a job's looking, they might be able to, blast a bunch of marketers and hire and have them come out for interviews. But really, it's the lowest form of doing things. The reality is, whatever business you're in, you need to be reverse engineering how your social media profile should look in order to validate to people that you are an expert in what you do, or you actually belong in that niche, right? It makes no sense if I sell slime that on my profile I talk about dogs, or the bags that I carry, or the coffee I had this morning, or any of that shit, right? And that disconnect is what kills me, because I'm always looking for people to help. I'm always looking to work with other businesses and pay for services if it's a value. But it kills me that people have this monster disconnect of, hey, I run a social media agency. I'm here to help you. We can do all these great things. Oh, but I don't have a video up on my site. Oh, I don't have any videos up on social media. I've never done a live stream before either. But trust me, I can do your social media, right? Same idea as a guy coming to repair my electricity. Listen, I've never really dealt with electricity before, and I don't really have all the tools for this, but I guarantee you, I'm a good electrician. Let me work on your house. When you come back, everything will be fine. I don't know how many people out there would believe that. I don't know how many people out there would do that. And I think a lot of people are doing exactly that with social media right now. They're treating it as this, the ugly stepchild, or in many cases, that fun little tool that the kids like. And when you start painting it that way, you miss the whole boat, and you realize what you should be saying is, this is the resume building platform for everybody. The young kids get it sooner because they're the ones that are out there trying to show what they can do, and in order to prove to others and to show off so that they can get their new jobs and they can meet new people and they can network. It's us older folks that aren't doing as much of that, so it seems odd to us why you'd want to do it that way. But when you go to a networking event and you meet people, all those interactions and how you go about saying, hi, I'm from this business, here's my card, yes, if you need any help, I'd love to. That's exactly what social media is. So the reality is, if you're not willing to do it on social media, I'm guaranteeing you probably don't do it in your business. And that's probably why your business is failing, or your sales are going down and down and down, right? These are all tied in together. But the reality is, check yourself at this point. If you don't have social media accounts, get them set up, right? Start treating those social media profiles as your resume. Whatever business you're in, start figuring out what needs to be on that resume to provide people the proof they need to see you as that leader in the industry, that expert of this knowledge, or the provider of this solution or this product, whatever it is. But that's how you need to reverse engineer it, so that when I go to your profile and I see you doing video after video after video, and then doing some really cool stuff that I didn't think of, then definitely I'm going to hire you to do that for me. But if I don't see any of that information, then it encounters the fact that I now have to meet you, we have to have a coffee, and I have to try to figure out how to get this information out of you. Save yourself all those interactions. That's what social media really does. It allows people to kind of dive into your life a little bit more, understand who you are, understand, let's say, your brand or solution. So provide that story, build that story, reverse engineer your social media resume, and it's going to make a tremendous difference in the results that come from it. And I think as technology continues to grow, you're going to see some amazing things that are going to creep into social media. So that's the other point. It's kind of like saying, if you don't get this resume part started and building, as these new technologies come out in the next year or two, you won't be able to take advantage of them, and you're going to miss out even more. So start now. If you have social media profiles, do an audit, do a quick check. See how authentic they are. See how right they are based on, what you're selling, what your brand is about, what you're about, and make sure that they line up with that, so that you're actually executing and showing people and building this story and building this resume that proves to people, this is why you need to hire me to build your deck. This is why you need to bring me in to, install your hot tub. This is why I'm a great painter. Here's me painting the last 40 paintings and all the work that goes into it. That's what you really want to be doing on your social media profiles. It's not something where you just put up motivational quotes and platitudes and do different things like that to, join the crowd and to say, well, everyone else is doing that, so that's what they want. That's not it at all. You really have to look at it from yourself first, your business, your brand, or your solution, and start executing it on that resume building mindset. And when you look at it from that lens, I guarantee you, what you produce and the story you tell will help your business, will help your brand, will help you in your interactions, in your networking, in your sales, in getting out there. So it's absolutely essential you get this right. So please take the time today, get your social media stuff in order. Make sure you're approaching your social media profiles not like old billboards where you craft simple images and put them up, or quotes that you put up. But I want you to think about it from yourself, from that resume point of view, and think about how you'd want to present yourself, and what do people want to know, and how do they learn about your solutions, and what are some objections they deal with. All of these are the factors. Just like when you build your resume, you're building these things out to tell that story about yourself. That's exactly what social media is. Once you approach it from that perspective, instead of thinking about it as, oh, it's just what the kids do and the kids like it and it's worthless and it won't account for much, everything will change. And the future is going to be more and more based on that interactivity on these platforms. So you need to get your shit together now. You can't afford to not have a resume in 2018, just like you can't afford not to have social media profiles that are on point, on brand, and in line with what you do. So go out there, do that. If you have any questions, comment on the video below. Reach out to me on social media anytime. I'm on Twitter at Patrick Wagner. I'm on Instagram at wags. I'd love to help you out in your business. If you have any questions or strategy ideas too, I'm here to help you online anytime. Have a great day, guys, and keep building digital business.